Good evening and welcome to another episode of Talk Business. Over the past few weeks, we have been discussing how COVID-19 is affecting businesses in Fiji. This week, we will focus more on a company that has been established in the country 25 years ago. Vodafone Fiji started operations here in 1994 and now has years of experience in providing cellular phone services and solutions to the businesses and people of Fiji. One of the company's products is M-PAiSA. Tonight in studio, I have the company's head of e-commerce, Mr. Shailendra Prasad. Mr. Prasad, thank you for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Stella, and it's my pleasure to be here.
Mr. Prasad, in light of the pandemic, the public have been advised to take extra precautions like social distancing, and government has also encouraged online transactions. For those who do not know about this product, M-PAiSA, and who do not have accounts, tell us more about this product and how it works.
Thank you. So, as you know, M-PAiSA started pretty much as M-PAiSA in Kenya, which interestingly in Swahili means money. M-PAiSA in Fiji, in the Hindi language, also means money. So there is similarities between how the product was introduced in Kenya and the same as Fiji. We launched the M-PAiSA service in Fiji in June 2010. At that time, mobile payment was still in a primary stage across the world. But we as a business had seen the access through mobile phone in terms of greater inclusion, digital inclusion, and economies around the world were going more towards mobile payment as a platform which could provide a lot more services. So we launched the M-PAiSA platform in June 2010, knowing full well that in future this could become the mode of payment for many businesses as digital economy grew. And 9 years on, we have seen it. In fact, during COVID-19, when most of the businesses were closed because of social distancing and other reasons, digital channels across the world have really picked up in terms of digital transactions. As you know, physical cash during such times of pandemic, which is contagious through physical contact. And cash moves through so many hands, and you don't know what is the state of a person's hand in terms of when the money moves. So there's quite easily there's sufficient information on the net. World Health Organization even saying that people should keep away from cash because that could be one of the ways COVID could even spread. So the digital channel has become very, very important at this time, and anyone on the Vodafone network, people who don't know about M-PAiSA, anyone who's on the Vodafone network, when you register for a SIM, which includes Inc. mobile users as well, automatically get registered into the M-PAiSA system, because to get a SIM you need to provide an ID. So Reserve Bank has pretty much approved that the SIM registration meets the sufficient requirement for KYC, which is know your customer in a financial account terms, to be able to register for a financial service like M-PAiSA. So anyone who's on the Vodafone network is by default registered into M-PAiSA. What you need to then do is go and create a password for your account, and once you are able to do that, then you are ready to use M-PAiSA. And then you can go to any M-PAiSA agent, give cash over the counter, and like you would go to a bank and deposit money in your bank account, you do the same in your M-PAiSA account. And once you have money in your M-PAiSA account, you are able to use a lot of the services available there, which includes things like paying for your water bills, electricity bills, shopping, buy your coffee, and numerous other services that is available through M-PAiSA, including buying recharge for your mobile phones or data, which is almost an everyday exercise for most of the people. But we have pretty good deals. Like if you recharge through M-PAiSA, you get a recharge bonanza, which is up to $5 every day for 7 days a week. So you don't need to wait for Thursdays and Fridays to get that deal.
Mr. Prasad, does this product only work for smartphones, or is it you can use it using any?
It's a good question, Stella. When we launched M-PAiSA in June 2010, at that time the smartphone penetration was very low in the market. So we had launched this service with a USSD channel, which is accessing M-PAiSA through a shortcode dial *181#. Of course, to use the old technology, the USSD at the time, it was very tedious for people to go through multiple steps to do a transaction. But with the proliferation of smartphones in the market, with about 85-88% of the market now having a smartphone, so almost everybody has one. In last year, we actually launched the M-PAiSA app. And the app is available free of charge, meaning that even if you do not have data on your phone, you would still be able to use the M-PAiSA app. And through the app, it gives a much richer experience to customers because you are able to do pretty much the whole transaction on one screen of the phone, and it's quite user-friendly.
Mr. Prasad, will there be any charges for those who are hoping to register?
No, registration is completely free. You also don't need to deposit any money at the time of registration. Most bank accounts, when you go and open, you are asked to deposit $10, $20 to start the account. For M-PAiSA, you can start an M-PAiSA account with no balance at all. So you simply go and log in and create a password, and you are good to go without any balance, and there is no registration fee whatsoever.
So what is the difference between M-PAiSA and using online banking services, and why should people opt to use mobile banking instead of mobile banking instead of online?
So one of the things that a lot of people, particularly those who are not in regular employment, like the subsistence farmers, when they put money in their bank account, most banks charge what we call an account maintenance fee. So every month from your balance, a portion gets deducted for maintaining an account at a bank. With M-PAiSA, we have zero maintenance fee. So if you put $100 in your M-PAiSA account at the beginning of the year, you will still have your $100 intact at the end of the year. So that's one benefit, because people who do not have regular income and are not able to transact on a daily basis, they don't need to continue to lose their balance as it is with the bank account. So if not all banks, at least most of the banks. With M-PAiSA, there is no such fee. Then, accessing your services through a bank, as much as we have online and internet banking, a lot of people are still not fully conversant or confident about using this. So you are able to even stay at home and access the services. You don't need to go and queue up in the banks and wait for hours before you are able to access the services. Also, you are able to transact from home. It's much secure. You have a PIN, and every time you transact, you enter your password, so people are not or should not at all be scared that it's not safe. One of the questions that people normally ask is, what happens if I lose my phone? It's just the same as if you lose your bank card or your wallet. In your wallet, if you have money, you lose it, it's gone. Yeah. With the mobile phone, if you lose it, we can do a SIM replacement, and because there's a password to your M-PAiSA account, nobody is able to access your account, and we can transfer the money intact as it was before you lost it into your new account or new phone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prasad. Don't go away. We'll have more discussions after the break. Welcome back. For those of you who have just tuned in, I have with me in studio Vodafone's Head of E-Commerce, Mr. Shailendra Prasad, discussing their product M-PAiSA. Mr. Prasad, we've also noted the use of M-PAiSA in rural areas. How successful has this been?
It has been very successful. As you know, as EFL goes more rural, they are now installing prepaid meters. Unlike the postpaid meters where you use the electricity for the month, then you get a bill, then you go and pay. But for EFL, as it goes more rural, if somebody doesn't pay their bill on a postpaid system, then somebody from EFL needs to go and disconnect the meter, and when the person comes and pays, then you have to go and reconnect the meter. So that physical traveling to and fro is a lot of cost to EFL. EFL now is installing prepaid meters, and close to about 30,000 households in the rural areas now have prepaid power. And the purchase of the prepaid power is through M-PAiSA, is available through M-PAiSA, and we now have about 26,000 households who are every month purchasing their prepaid power through M-PAiSA. So it's, it's assisting the rural people to be able to purchase those power from wherever they are instead of coming to towns to buy the token. Then there are many people who have families abroad who regularly send money home to their parents, to their families whilst they are working abroad. Every month, pre-COVID, we used to get about $2 million in international money transfer from 94 different countries directly onto the mobile phones, into the M-PAiSA account. During COVID, when the traditional means of sending money were closed, these operations were closed, a lot of the people have taken to the digital channel. And the international money transfer in the last 2 months has gone up from $2 million to $4 million. So there are a lot of people who are now seeing the value of the digital channel in terms of, pandemics or social distancing or the measures that have been taken in at the moment. So a lot of the rural people are receiving these international money transfers from families abroad. Apart from that, obviously, in many parts of Fiji, in rural areas, people don't have regular access to, shops where they could go and buy top up for their mobile and all that. So if they have money in the M-PAiSA account, they're able to buy top up anytime 24/7 without leaving their home. So these are important conveniences that the people have through the M-PAiSA platform.
Mr. Prasad, M-PAiSA is not only a local app, as you had mentioned earlier. You have features that allow you to transfer money not only from one account to another, but also from one country to another.
Yes.
The product is said to be revolutionizing the world, and mobile bank is said to be the heart of a payment system in certain countries like Kenya. Tell us more about this.
Yes, Kenya was the first country in the world to introduce M-PAiSA as it is known there, and out of the 40 plus million people there, almost everybody in that country has an M-PAiSA account. And the product there has evolved from being a basic, send money home type product, where Kenya is a big landmass. So there are a lot of people who worked in the towns and cities, and every week they used to send money home via the traditional routes like buses or minivans or whatever to their families. And when money, actual cash, was sent via envelopes en route, if somebody sent $100, the person at home would receive $50 because $50 would go missing in the delivery process. So because of that need, when mobile phone became widely accessible in Kenya, the people behind M-PAiSA thought, why don't we look at the electronic channel of sending money? And that's how M-PAiSA came into being. So people in cities who used to work were able to send money using their mobile to the rural people, and they would have agents in the rural area to be able to access cash through these agents. So now the M-PAiSA in Kenya has evolved to an extent that people are even able to borrow short-term loans through mobile phones. So you have short-term credit, which is called payday loans or something. There are many, which is also available here. People borrow from colleagues from short period. Then they have payments online. It's embedded to e-commerce platforms where people can go do shopping and pay via M-PAiSA. These are similar things that we are looking at. In fact, we are in the process of finalizing an e-commerce platform where we want to onboard merchants, any merchant, a big shop, a big retailer, to a small micro entrepreneur who can come on our M-PAiSA platform, list their products, and then get people to be able to access that product and service and pay via M-PAiSA, and then the goods are delivered to them. So there are many new opportunities. And globally, the new economy that's coming through is the digital economy. Because of digital inclusion, digital trade and digital economy and digital payments are the buzzwords for now, and we as Vodafone are ready to be able to offer this new virtual market options to our customers.
Mr. Prasad, with the current COVID-19 pandemic in place globally, people have now moved to online transactions. And do you think Fiji, this is the chance where Fiji, an opportunity where Fiji can take this step in moving into online transactions?
For sure. And we've already seen that transition happening. Like every crisis creates an opportunity. Yeah. For us, we had long seen this opportunity, not only because of a crisis, but because that's the way the whole global economy and trade is transforming. Because of the access available through mobile phones as a channel and smartphones in particular, electronic channels have become far more important to trade. If you go to Australia and some of these markets, many of the retail stores, the physical retail stores, are now closing down in favor of online stores. And the advantage of having online stores or e-commerce platform is that, for a physical store, you will need to pay for rent. You will need to make sure you keep staff there whom you pay for utilities, you pay for warehousing cost and all this to maintain a physical store. The digital store, on the other hand, you get rid of all these costs because you are just a virtual store online. You are able to list the produce or the goods online and have a relationship directly with the manufacturing company, and they ship it direct from the manufacturer. So you get away with all these warehousing costs, etc. The benefit is to the end consumer, because if you can cut your business operational cost, then you can offer these services so much cheaper to the customer. So my advice to the customers or the people out there is to start looking at these channels, because there are so many great deals available online, and people are missing out on these good deals because they still have not fully seen the potential that digital payment or e-commerce platform offers.
Thank you once again, Mr. Prasad. Stay with us. We'll have more discussions after the break. Hello again. This is our third and final segment, and I have with me in studio the head of e-commerce for Vodafone, Mr. Shailendra Prasad. Mr. Prasad, as of February this year, you had about 550,000 registered users of M-PAiSA in the country. How has the feedback been from your customers?
As I said, anybody who takes up a Vodafone SIM is by default registered into M-PAiSA. Of these, about 550,000 people are registered. Of these, about 150,000 people use M-PAiSA services, one or the other form of M-PAiSA services, on a monthly basis. And we churn out close to about $25 million in M-PAiSA transactions each month. Now, any business that is operating out there, if they are not accessing the M-PAiSA platform, that means they are losing out on the $25 million that is circulating through the M-PAiSA, and that's a significant chunk of business they are missing out. So my advice to businesses is, please look at this as a convenient trade and payment channel, because more and more people, and today's consumers, the young, the mobile, they are out and about, and they want to do things from the comfort of their phone. They don't want to go and stand in line, and they want to be able to browse, select, pay, and get the delivery done to their doorstep. That's the new consumer. And M-PAiSA and e-commerce platform actually offers that channel to businesses. So more and more people and businesses are adopting this channel, and I think it's important that businesses actually look at this.
So with the current pandemic, are there plans to assist or waive customer fees, specifically for charges per transaction?
Most of the M-PAiSA services are almost available for free. So if you went and did shopping and paid with M-PAiSA QR at any of the supermarket that has this QR pay option, there is no fees and charges. Similarly, if you're paying your water bill, electricity bill through the M-PAiSA app, there are no fees and charges. Sending money person to person, is we are charging below $1. We are charging below $100. We are only charging 50 cents. If you go and send this through a traditional money transfer agency, you will pay a lot of money. For anything above $100 to $1,000, we are only charging $1. So we are already very, very competitive, and for most of the services, it's free of charge. Of course, we are looking at how we can make it more accessible and competitive in terms of charges. So those are some of the things that we are currently considering.
Mr. Prasad, I've also noted that people on the ground have also been commending Vodafone for their cheap services, such as M-PAiSA. And which sectors in Fiji can M-PAiSA be very useful in?
It is relevant for all sectors of the economy and all size businesses, big or small. So of course, there is opportunities to maximize on consumers who may not be able to physically come in the shop. So there are remote payment options. So let's say, Kandavu recently went through, the wrath of the TC Herald. So if a hardware company were to sell some hardware materials to Kandavu, people would be able to pay from there remotely, and then the goods are shipped from here.
So, which companies will you be approaching, and why?
As of now, we have close to about 60 companies that are already on board. These companies have close to about 500 outlets Fiji-wide or branches. So M-PAiSA is quite widely accessible already, but we have a number of businesses. Every day new businesses are coming on board, and there are a number of businesses who are now offering their services online through their website or e-commerce platform. And we are integrating M-PAiSA as a payment option on these websites, so people are able to go on the websites of these businesses, browse for products and services, and then pay through M-PAiSA.
Finally, sir, your professional advice to everyone with regards to your product, M-PAiSA.
I have been a flag bearer for M-PAiSA product for almost 9 years, and I continue to advocate on it because I see the benefit to the users and to the businesses as well. And I strongly suggest that people look at these new channels, because businesses will continue to transform in this era of digital economy, digital inclusion, financial inclusion, and the mobile-based platform. So, there are many good deals online available, either locally or abroad through mobile payment options and online electronic payment options. And I urge consumers to get educated about these. They can start basically with an M-PAiSA platform, which is a local payment option. There are many businesses like small micro entrepreneurs who, like somebody is producing 100 bottles of honey. They're finding it difficult to sell their product, but if they can list their product online and choose M-PAiSA as a payment option, then they have a wider market to sell their products from.
Well, Mr. Prasad, time has caught up with us, and that's the end of the show. But we thank you once again for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
And that's your Talk Business for tonight. For questions and comments, or even if you want your businesses to be featured on our show, feel free to email us on news@fijitv.com.fj. We hope that you enjoyed the show tonight. Until next week, good night.